Hello and welcome back. This is a segment we like to call Knowledge is Power. I'm here with Miss Chastity Richmond. How are you doing?
Good, and you? Pleasure to be here.
Fine. We're going to talk about your top 5 study tips. Why don't you get into that a little bit?
Okay, my first one is taking effective notes. When you take effective notes, you want to be engaged and you want to be active in the lecture. You also want to be an active listener in order to take effective notes. And one technique that you can use is the Cornell note-taking process. That is very commonly used here at Murray State. It's taught in the 098 courses as well as some of the FYE courses as well.
Okay. All right.
The next one would be interacting with your professors and asking questions. When you do this, you will enjoy the class more. You'll have the motivation to go to class, do well in the class, and then you also will gain networking skills as well. And then overall, what happens is you will get to know your professor and ultimately gain a great mentor as well.
Yeah, I think that's a very important tip, because you have to have some type of relationship with your professor. You see them pretty much every day, and I think a lot of people, I guess they're too proud to ask questions. I mean, the professor is there to help you and they're not there to hurt you. So I think that's very important to ask your professor questions about anything concerning the criteria.
You're absolutely right. Relationships are really, really important. For my next tip, I would suggest joining or forming a study group. So as part of these relationships, I would suggest that you keep your study group small, 4 or 5 students at the most. When you do this, you want to clarify your goals of why you have this study group. Why are you coming? Is it a particular test? Are you discussing reading? Are you going to review homework? That sort of thing. And then also you want to be upfront about how often your group is going to meet, whether it's over a couple weeks or if it's just one particular test, or how many times in a week that you're going to meet with that study group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I have noticed is when people have study groups, they don't actually study. They kind of just, just congregate and just talk about other things instead of the material they need to talk about. So, yeah, if you're gonna, I feel like if you're going to get a study group, make sure you get people that are going to study together and, not just talk and just fool around and stuff. So, yeah, study groups are very good, though.
And then when you're forming these study groups, you're also learning how to practice, per se.
Yeah.
This goes into our next tip, which is an excellent method that I wanted to talk about, which is the SQ3R method. It is a survey question, read, recite, and review process as well. You can do that in a study group as well as on your own, but this technique can be used with a study group, and it can also be used individually as well. And the last technique that I would suggest would be establishing good time management skills. One thing I couldn't stress more is use a planner like your academic life depends on it. You have several different types of planners that you can use. You can use a PDA, your iPhone. My personal favorite is the traditional old-fashioned way of paper, trying to decide if you're going to use a daily planner, if you're going to use a weekly planner, or a monthly one. Sometimes you can use a combination of those 3.
Okay. Well, those are all very good tips you just put out there, and I think if people, use these tips in their study habits, they'll be very successful in college. That's all the time we have, and I want to thank you for coming out.
Pleasure.
Let me interview you, and we can see you guys next week.